Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the videos of the paid request. It's time for Jonathan. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Bug from 2006, directed by William Friedkin. May he rest in peace. Starring Michael Shannon, Ashley Judd, Harry Connick Jr. Not a whole lot of people in this. It's probably at most 5 people or so that you see. Most of it takes place in this like motel room. Pretty much, Michael Shannon is a paranoid crazy fuck who turns Ashley Judd into a paranoid crazy fuck, and it deals with bugs. This is one of those movies that, watch it again, I can understand what William Friedkin was trying to do. It just wasn't effective for me. Although I'll give credit to the performances of Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon. It didn't make it a worthless movie to watch. Far from it. Especially watch it again. I think they do a good job performance-wise. At least it's a good showcase for those two's acting prowess. I'll give you that. And also, you can tell, apparently this was based on a play. You can definitely tell because most of it in one location. And you see how it would work as a play. Because there's not a whole lot you would need. Effects wise, action wise, not that movie at all. I'm sure when people saw they probably saw the advertising of this and they thought it was about killer bugs or microscopic bugs, but it's like an infection movie. So they probably thought it was that, and then when they realized it's about 2 people who go, one is crazy and one slowly goes crazy, and it's this tragic love story. I think a lot of people got pissed off. I didn't understand that. I probably felt the same way when I first saw this back in the day. Like I said, watching nowadays, I get more what he's coming from, but at the same time, I don't know if I can say I still like the movie, but I guess I just say I appreciate the movie more. Just Ashley Judd does a good job. You can tell she's a very lonely lady dealing with her kid went missing long ago. She still feels that guilt from long ago. I forgot she had a crack pipe in this. I think they could have pushed that even more so. I mean, you see her using it once, and then you see someone else using it later for some reason, which I'll get to. I think they could have pushed the drug usage even more. I'll get to why I say that in a minute. But yeah, she's living a life that you tell she's not happy with. Even when she goes to the grocery store, she's on edge because that's where her kid went missing long ago. And her ex, played by Harry Connick Jr., who was in Independence Day, among other movies, he has gotten out of jail. He was very abusive. He tries to get in with her again. She wants him to leave. He's like, this ain't over. I'll come back later. So one leads to another. Ashley Judd has her friend, because she works at a bar, a gay bar. Her lesbian friend says, hey, I guess she's bi. Hey, here's Michael Shannon. But then she needs to go. Michael Shannon decides to stay. And Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon, they're kind of awkward with each other, but they start warming up to each other. And while Michael Shannon is awkward, he also seems like a nice guy. Seems like an easygoing guy. He's treating her very well. And Ashley Judd likes that. And it slowly gets into them kind of warming up to each other. Until ultimately they eventually do have sex with each other. And soon after, Michael Shannon starts seeing bugs on him. At first, Ashley Judd's like, I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Yeah, they're in there. They're in there. And then it's this story where Michael Shannon's getting more and more crazed about these bugs on him, which Ashley Judd can't see. Then he's about ready to leave, and she's like, no, no, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. So he comes back, he tells the story about these army experiments done on him. And kind of soon after, she starts seeing these bugs. Now, we, the viewer, never see them. And it's one of those things where it's about a lady getting pulled into the psychosis of this schizophrenic or paranoid delusional, however you want to put it, guy. She gets pulled into it because of her own issues, her own troubles, her own demons that she never went to therapy for, she never got over. So here's a person who's desperate, desperately doesn't want to be lonely. Her mind, like, desperately wants to believe what Michael Shannon says, what Michael Shannon thinks, so easily falls into it. I would like to, if it was a bit more, I don't want to say gradual, but it still feels like she went crazy too quick. But I guess you just say maybe she was kind of there a bit crazy from the start, because there's these phone calls. We never hear the phone. We never hear on the other side of the phone calls, but we assume she was talking with Harry Connick Jr. Because then later on, the phone rings, and then Michael Shannon picks it up, and he just hears static. But there's a part of that thinks, okay, was she imagining those phone calls and never happened? But the same thing, the phone rings, then Michael Shannon answers, so he hears the phone as well. It's like, it feels as if within 24 hours she goes batshit crazy. And, okay, she may be on the edge of that precipice at first, but just. That's why I would have preferred more of the drug usage to be even more prominent. Where every once in a while, like, to see her do those drugs more and more and more. So it clouds her judgment more and more and more, this crack pipe. I think she, as a viewer, to see her do smoke that shit more and more, so then my mind is able to make that leap. Okay, yeah, her mind is. She may be on edge at first, but this is even more polluted in her mind. There's more polluted in her mind. Maybe William Friedkin did not want it to become an anti-drug message. But you have the fucking crap pipe in there in the first place. So if you have it in there in the first place, then you might as well go all the way with it. So the audience even more able to take that leap of why she goes crazy so fucking quick. To the point that it seems like within 24 hours, her friend from the bar is trying to get her to safety. And this guy was cutting himself. We need to get the fuck out. Ashley Judd slaps her and goes, "You're trying to take the one thing I have away from me. Who do you think you are? You need to get the hell out of here." And the friend's just stunned, and I don't blame her, because it's like, we've known each other for how long? And you know this guy for how little? And you think there are bugs on you and all this shit? Like, it feels like something that maybe within a week I would understand, but since we had to fast forward the timeline, it feels like we went from 8 to 80 like that. And I guess it was hard for my brain to take that leap onto Ashley Judd's. Again, it's easier knowing that she's not in her right frame of mind at the start of the movie, but like I said, maybe a bit more time or a bit more of the crack. But you do get a bit of her story, spoilers, in a scene when Shannon is almost passed out and she's kind of sitting there going, I'd rather talk to you about bugs than talk nothing with nobody. And how she's sick of her life, of her lousy life. And that's where you literally verbally says, to the audience kind of why her line of thinking is going in this direction. So at least there's that. I appreciate that scene, and Ashley Judd does a good job. But then we're in warp speed where they're both absolutely batshit crazy, and Shannon pulls a tooth out, and she sees it. Oh my god, there's millions of bugs. Then you cut away, and they've tinfoiled the whole place. And then this guy comes in, this doctor, and I know some people say that when you watch the movie, you don't know if Michael Shannon is telling the truth or not. When I first saw it, and when I see it now, I never, have never, and still am never thinking that what Michael Shannon is saying is true. I'm never once thinking that yes, this guy really has all these bugs on him, which then infected her and all this stuff. Now, one time. So if it was ever trying to make the viewer think that maybe what they're saying is true, I think it failed on that. I do. I think it failed on that. Because we never see the bugs. I know, oh, you see it there, but we never see anything. Even other people go, I don't see what you're talking about. To, again, how rough of the mental state Ashley just teared already is and smoked in the crack pipe. To this doctor, like if he was worried about all these bugs, wouldn't he have protective gear on? Well, I need to make them calm. Well, why don't you go in with a bunch of, even he says, why don't I come in with a bunch of armed people with guns, and you come with me? More likely that the doctor was told by Ashley Judd's friend, this is what's going on, this is where they're at. Here's some information I can give you as to why maybe she's crazy because her kid died, or disappeared, I should say. So the doctor tries to talk her down. She keeps believing on it. I don't know why the doctor smokes the crack pipe. That I don't understand. He takes a crack pipe and he smokes it. Why? Why is the doctor smoking a crack pipe? You're a fucking doctor. You think you should know better. Why? Or, like, why is he smoking the crack pipe? I don't understand that. It can't be, I need to see what's in this. I think there's better ways to do it than actually smoking it. And he's trying to talk her down, then he lies. I could tell he was lying and saying, oh, well, I may know where your kid's at. To try to get her to trust him and get Michael Shannon back to where he belongs. Michael Shannon kills the guy. She's like, oh my god, why'd you do that? He knew where my son was. Unless maybe the doctor did find out through records and maybe the kid was put in some adoption somewhere, I don't know. But then pretty much her mind breaks down and creates this total illusion of a story almost by Michael Shannon's will. Where she's like just spitballing these ideas and Michael Shannon's like, go on, and she makes up this fucking fantasy, which I thought that was a good acting scene because, and that's what I meant by I can appreciate what the movie's doing more so now. Think about a lot of the crazy people out there that believe in the craziest of shit. Sometimes with the help of drugs and other stuff, but they'll believe there are gremlins in the wall sockets. They'll believe that the most insane stuff, that their family members are demons from Uranus. And this, you see how someone like literally tossed himself into insanity and the wildest of conspiracy theories and all that jazz. Because of deep down the guilt she had of not protecting her kid, not watching her kid, and never finding her kid. So she creates this story of, it was them. Harry Down Jr. stole him, and this is that happened, and the government knows about this, and then they infected you and infected me, and I am the super mother bug. Which did make me laugh, I gotta admit, when that happened. When Ashley just like, I'm the super mother bug. It made me think of The Simpsons. Remember Lisa? I am the lizard queen. When she accidentally got doused with drugs, LSD or something. I am the lizard queen. I am the super mother bug. I'm like, so, spoilers, they get naked, they torch themselves, end a movie. I would not say I hate this film like I used to, because I can appreciate what William Friedkin is trying to showcase in terms of delusions, how delusions can almost be transmitted if your mental capacity is not all there from the start. Like I said, how quick it happens was a bit off for me. And maybe this is, I can appreciate that, but at the same time, did I find the film disturbing? No. Did I find the film scary? No. It's not meant to be entertaining. So I'm kind of watching two people, a crazy guy and a lady go crazy for 90 minutes, mostly in one room, and it's just kind of, it's not the most interesting for me. Maybe if it was a short film, maybe if it was part of an anthology, and the short running time, it just kind of went okay. You kind of know where. I don't know how else to put it. Just it's two people going crazy. One crazy from the start. One gets there. Harry Connick Jr. He tries to pop back up. He gets his hand stabbed or whatever, or hit, I should say. He can't get into the motel room. The friend, after she was slapped by Ashley Judd, you never see her again. Like I said, I don't think the movie ever makes me believe that what they're telling is the truth. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to even talk about what the hell else to discuss. And even how I feel about it. I would never watch the film again. I can appreciate the performances. Not really a story I really look forward to watch on my own terms. I mean, I could watch Jack Nicholson go crazy in The Shining, but that story's more interesting to me. You know, the events that follow. You know, there's other movies where people go crazy, or they start to go crazy, or they turn into insanity. But that's pretty much all this movie is, and really nothing else to it. And I'm like, okay. I could just go watch other movies where people go crazy, but there's a little bit more other stuff going on with the story than just that. So maybe that's why it wasn't the most interesting. I can appreciate what it's trying to do. I don't think it's an awful movie. Watch it again. So I guess it went up a bit because I would have said it's a piece of shit, but I don't think it's a piece of shit. It's just probably not my kind of movie. Actually, on a quick note, as soon as I turned off the camera, I realized what I was trying to think of when you have a movie where you're pretty sure it's one way, but it gives you the options. It could be another thing. Like I said, I didn't really buy into, okay, maybe there's bugs infested with them. A movie that did that I thought fairly well was Session 9. Well, for the most part, you think, okay, it's a guy who is going crazy or went crazy. But there's doubts in your mind that think maybe there's some kind of spiritual force that kind of gave that nudge, gave that push, that it could be that. You're not 100% certain, but I live in the weak and the wounded. Session 9 is more of that type of. I'd gravitate more towards Session 9 for that kind of thing. And in my opinion, I thought Session 9 is that going to the paranoid delusion, so it's not the same thing, but I'm just mean for that part of the story that I thought worked better in that than in this. Sorry, a little weird edit, but I just had to mention that because that just popped in my head as soon as I turned off the camera. So, but I'm a big Session 9 fan. But that I felt there was a bit more to it. Maybe because of the other characters and the cleaning business and the environment and such, but that's just me. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.